Bali Tourism Office holds coordination meeting concerning naughty foreign tourists, and LRT plans still under discussion at regional level. Stay tuned for details on these stories and more. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is July 13th, 2024, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? Wow, it is so nice. 28.4. Yes, it is cooler today. 28.4 degrees Celsius. And humidity is all the way down to 53%. Nice, clear day. Little clouds in the sky. Some ripples out in the ocean in front of the house. And could the weather get any better? No. I love this time of the year, except it's the dry season. And, well, we're having some difficulties getting water during the day up on the third floor, the second and third floors. And so that's a problem. But otherwise, who can complain? And so, as usual, meetings and meetings and meetings about foreign tourists behaving badly, and some, I don't know, so many cooks getting involved in this, including somebody that came in, and I'm not doing this story, but I just mention it, a presidential staff member in here to examine what's going on in Bali. Not just tourists, but one of the things he wanted to look at was what is being done to handle rogue tourists behaving badly. And he said, hey, we're not going to cut down on the number of people coming in because tourists are a blessing and they bring in lots of money, lots of investment. And so we don't want to do that. But we need to take care of the situation because it's being known nationally and internationally, and it is not good for Bali's brand. But let's get on to the first story. Must work together to handle rogue tourists. Bali Tourism Office holds coordination meeting involving stakeholders. The Bali provincial government, through the tourism office, held a coordination meeting at the Bali Tourism Media Center in Denpasar on Tuesday. The meeting, which involved elements of law enforcement, tourism associations, regional regulation enforcers, and immigration, was to address naughty foreign tourists here in Bali. Head of the Bali Provincial Tourism Office, Jok Bagus Pumayun, talked about so many times, said that the coordination meeting was to address issues related to tourism, especially about tourists who act up in Bali, which is in the public spotlight, both nationally and internationally, as I said. This meeting is for sharing information between stakeholders on the handling that has been carried out in each institution according to their authority, he said. In addition, he continued, this meeting is also to get input from all stakeholders about the steps that need to be taken in an effort to prevent naughty tourists. He said there needs to be a common perception, movement, and steps to prevent the recurrence of unwanted incidents. Acting head of Immigration Division of the Ministry of Law and Human Rights in Bali said that they have formed a foreign monitoring team, PORA, which then carries out legal action operations by the team for violators. How many of these special teams are there? I've lost track of them. Supervision for foreigners begins at the airport, he said. Then, when they're in Indonesian territory, they become a shared responsibility. He also submitted data on the deportation of foreign nationals from the Bali region during the period of January through July. According to this, immigration has deported 247 foreign nationals, most of them overstayed, he said. Police spokesperson revealed cases involving foreign nationals from January to June, and it was stated that there are 38 foreign nationals involved in cases in Bali, ranging from accidents, motorcycle theft, fraud, assault, and rape. The head of Bali Satpol PP said that many of the problems of foreign tourists whose reports were submitted to Bali PP, and of course the police also, and the coordination was being done with the Ministry of Law and Human Rights. He also highlighted the slow response from districts and cities that have tourist destinations to address the problems faced. Especially on holidays, he said, it's hard to contact them. Their cell phones are dead. Thankfully, the district city Sapol PP can still be contacted. Okay, so people are unavailable to help with these naughty foreign tourists. On this occasion, he also said that his party appreciated the performance of the police in handling foreigners who were acting up. He also hopes, however, that the community will assist in taking care of naughty foreign tourists. And we've got a story on that coming up. And well, the way that they assisted, not really good for the foreigner. So he said, to emphasize his point, don't leave everything to authorities. The community and associations can also help prevent this problem. For example, if there's a fight, stop it. Not the other way around. Don't film it and then spread it everywhere. He also hopes that the socialization of do's and don'ts, remember those, what tourists can and cannot do, will not stop because foreigners who come to Bali need to see those. In addition, it's also possible that naughty foreigners imitate the behavior of the community, so he hopes that socialization of the do's and don'ts will continue to be intensified. And it's interesting that this has come up over and over again in just about every article that I read about this, where they're talking about local people, Indonesian citizens, Balinese, and other Indonesians need to set a good example for tourists. And this wasn't talked about before, but it is being talked about now. And I don't know if that's because of social media, where you see people saying, why should I get stopped for not wearing a helmet when all of these local people are driving around without helmets, or with 4 or 5 people on their motorcycles, or this or that. And so the local authorities here are emphasizing that the Indonesian citizens need to set a good example. And of course, if there was some enforcement of the rules that already exist, maybe there would be less problems. But just my thought. He also said that there should be restrictions related to the foreign investment because, he continued, currently businesses are being carried out by foreign tourists that are penetrating local businesses. He said there has to be restrictions. The chaos of small rights, such as laundry businesses, for example, is being carried out by foreign tourists. This is a situation and the facts on the ground. Meanwhile, a foreign surveillance team, another one, right, the Bali Becek team, and that has been around for a while, they have gone to the field and looked at things as well. Suggestions and input are also submitted by Asida Bali regarding foreigners who deliberately violate immigration, traffic, driving regulations, create chaos in trade, where many of them are also opening these small businesses, as mentioned previously. He hopes that the government will consistently socialize the do's and don'ts guidelines for foreign tourists while in Bali, because there's many tourists, he said, who don't understand the rules in Bali and Indonesia, leaving aside common sense. He said it's hoped that they will re-implement good practices that have been implemented previously in monitoring and evaluation efforts. Regional Regulation Number 5 of 2023 has begun to be implemented strictly, especially regarding licensing and the obligation of tourism businesses to become members of associations at the provincial level. Reviewing visa requirements is being undertaken for other than tourist visas, and applications for permits through OSS is being tightened up. Chairman of the DPD of the Indonesia Tour Guide Association also highlighted the tour guides carried out by foreign nationals. He gave an example in Thailand where he said there are no more foreign nationals who work as tour guides because there's strict actions. He continued regarding the involvement of the community and associations to prevent this. HPI does not have the authority to arrest foreign guides. If they had the authority, it would be easy. In Indonesia, foreigners are not allowed to be tour guides. He said, unlike in Thailand, in Indonesia, and especially in Bali, it's less firm about this. He said there's even a negative stigma related to weak law enforcement. The existence of digitalization has made many things viral about naughty foreigners. According to him, if it doesn't go viral, there'll be no action. And that has been said many times by a number of people. Pak Pamayun, going back to Pak Pamayun again, said that Bali promotes cultural tourism. In addition to enjoying the natural beauty, tourists come to Bali attracted by art, culture, customs, and the hospitality of its people, and beach clubs and these kind of raves. With its various charms presented, tourists call Bali with various nicknames starting from the Island of Thousand Temples, Paradise Island, to the last paradise in the world, and Party Land. The Bali provincial government also continues to strive to improve the understanding of foreign nationals coming to Bali. And one of the ways to do that is through the circular of the governor of Bali, number 4 of 2023, concerning the new order for foreign tourists while in Bali, which has been socialized to all tourism stakeholders in Bali, but hasn't seemed to have been very effective. In addition, the Bali provincial government, together with the immigration of the Ministry of Law and Human Rights, includes the do's and don'ts leaflets in the passports of foreign nationals coming to Bali, namely what foreign tourists may and may not do as an effort to educate tourists. The leaflet received positive appreciation from foreign nationals in Bali. Okay, I think a lot of people did not get those. The do's and don'ts, well, you can see this on Bali provincial government's Love Bali website and application, and that's a link down below. These steps are taken as an effort to create quality and dignified tourism. Maintaining this cultural-based tourism involves two things. First, to respect the norms and sanctity of temples, traditions, and cultures, as well as local Balinese wisdom, and to obey the laws and enforce in Indonesia. So, are they going to start putting these in passports again when people show up? Are they going to put signs around in other places? I don't know. If you've been to a tourist destination, called DTWs, if you've been to a tourist destination and you see some of these signs, billboards, flyers, leave a comment. But it looks like there's going to be a push to socialize these do's and don'ts again in the hope that this will get people to behave better. What about immigration and deportation? Well, some new statistics on that. Immigration deports 1,503 foreigners. This is throughout Indonesia. Bali's Ngurah Rai, second in taking action. The Directorate General of Immigration has deported 1,503 foreign nationals throughout the first semester of 2024, compared to the first semester of 2023, where 1,165 foreigners were deported. So, number has gone up. There are 2,041 foreign nationals that we have taken action against. Of that number, 1,503, or around 73.64%, are deportation sanctions, according to the Director General of Immigration. He further explained that immigration enforcement takes various forms. Among them may be inclusion in the prevention or deterrence list, means blacklisted, restriction, change, or cancellation of residence permit, prohibition to be in one or several specific places in the territory of Indonesia, requirement to reside in a specific place within Indonesia, imposition of a burden fee, and or deportation from Indonesia. Meanwhile, deportation is the most common form of immigration action taken against foreigners. Bogor, Ngurah Rai, Soekarno-Hatta, and Batam immigration offices are the 4 immigration offices that recorded the highest immigration actions through the first semester. A total of 136 actions were recorded by Bogor Immigration Action Office and 124 in Ngurah Rai. Soekarno-Hatta also had 124 and Batam had 118. Now, if you're paying close attention to numbers, you know that in a previous segment, the numbers were different. And that was because the number of people being deported in Bali included Singaraja, where they've deported a number of people, and so not just Ngurah Rai. So this number here, this 124, is just at the Ngurah Rai Immigration Office. According to the director, there's an increasing trend of foreign arrivals in Indonesia in the first semester. We must respond to this with greater vigilance towards their activities. The Directorate General of Immigration conducted a Jagratara surveillance operation which netted 914 foreigners in May. Currently, they are carrying out the Bali Becik surveillance operation to catch problematic foreigners. In the first week of implementation, Operation Bali succeeded in securing 103 foreigners suspected of being part of an international cybercrime syndicate. The director said, "We are intensifying operations both locally and nationally. This is our effort to contribute to national security while providing a preventive effect so that immigration violations can be minimized." Now, a lot of stories over the last time I did a video was 8 days ago. Wow, is it that long ago? 8 days ago. Deportations for overstaying, deportations for working illegally, deportations for acting up. Well, this is one that has just happened and has gotten lots and lots of viral videos out about this. British foreigner drunk driving car hit and run 3 residents in Bali. A British citizen was arrested and beaten by a mob in the Sanur area. The foreigner was driving a car while drunk and hit 3 other drivers. This happened on Thursday night around 23:30. He was chased by a mob after hitting a resident in Sanur. And this video was viral Thursday night. I saw this just as it was happening, basically. And after he hit a motorcycle, and his car was obviously damaged, he took off with a number of local people following him on motorcycles until he was eventually caught and pulled out, apparently, of the car and beaten by some of the local residents. The man was badly beaten and rushed to the hospital by police. The head of public relations for the police said when the perpetrator was arrested, he smelled of alcohol. So he was apparently coming from Kuta and going towards Sanur and driving an HRV car, and he hit 3 residents, 2 motorcyclists and 1 car. Victims are currently receiving medical treatment at Bali Mandara Hospital. The case of the reckless hit and run by the British foreigner has been signed by the Traffic Accident Unit of the Denpasar Police. And what about the LRT? Is the LRT going to be another North Bali airport? I don't know. Let's see. This is the continuation of Bali LRT development plan. Minister of Transportation Budi handed back to the regional government. The Ministry of Transportation has returned to the regional government the plan to build the light rail transit in Bali. According to the minister, "I will hand it back to the local government. This is the local government's proposal. We will follow up on it later." However, when asked further about the latest developments regarding the construction of the LRT in Bali, the Minister of Transportation said it was still under discussion, and that was the end of that conversation. So what is going on there? Previously, in early 2024, the Minister of Transportation met with the Deputy Minister of Infrastructure and Transportation of South Korea in Seoul. This is on January 9th, 2024. The meeting was held to discuss efforts to complete a feasibility study for the LRT. In this meeting, the Minister of Transportation said the Indonesian government is committed to building urban mass transportation to overcome traffic congestion problems in several regions in Indonesia, one of which is, of course, Bali. He said, "We will focus on starting the construction of LRT Bali Phase 1 from the airport to central parking." And he said this back in January. Nothing is happening yet as far as I know. The Minister of Transportation explained that the government invited South Korea to participate in building the first rail-based mass transportation project in Bali. The feasibility study was conducted by Korea National Railways, KNR, with grant financing from Korea Exim Bank. The feasibility study started in January and it was targeted to be completed in April. I don't know. Was it completed? Anybody know? The Minister of Transportation hopes that KNR, which has experience and a good reputation as a railway company in South Korea, can support efforts to complete the FS according to the deadline. The implementation of the feasibility study is not easy because there's many aspects that must be considered, starting from technical, financial, and institutional. Regarding financing, the Minister of Transportation revealed that the government is still discussing various schemes, including utilizing official development assistance loans, ODA, and public-private partnerships. He said, "We ask for full support of the South Korean government and XM Bank, KNR, and other related parties so Bali can enjoy better mass transportation." So, are we going to get an LRT in Bali? We'll see. Okay, So that is it for today. It did take longer than I expected to put a new video on, and it was because of the arrival of my newest grandchild. My son and my daughter-in-law had an adorable little baby girl, and so I have another granddaughter here in the house downstairs, and so she's been occupying some of my time along with all of my children, which seem to be coming in and out here constantly. It's sometimes like living in a hotel. Okay, thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.